UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer just admitted that Western leaders have been running an open borders experiment. Open borders experiments. This happened by design, not accident. Immigration policies were reformed deliberately. It has been a failure. They pretended it wasn't happening. I'm going to play the video so you hear it for yourself, because it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
What the British people are owed is an explanation. Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck. It isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders. Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, and which they then pretended wasn't happening.
So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to deport en masse? Are you going to take them back? Is that out of context? I would like to, let's pretend for a second that this was out of context. Let's think that this was out of context. You know that people on X, that's one of the things that I like about X. If this was taken out of context and I saw this clip more than once on my timeline, we would see community notes. Okay, he was talking about a quote on a book or a quote somewhere else on a quote from some other people, and this was, made to be misleading that he was saying this. But we have accounts like Geiger Capital. Geiger Capital, I follow Geiger Capital, is usually spot on. And, well, you would know if this was taken out of context just because the tweet by Geiger Capital got to 56 million impressions. 56 million impressions, which is quite a lot, and almost 9,000 replies. That is brutal. That is brutal. So yeah, if this was not if this was not legit, it absolutely would have community notes. So he's saying that this was an experiment by design. When did you realize it exactly, Keir? Did you realize it on November 30? This was in November 29. Maybe you realized it the day before. Did you realize it years before? When did you have this certain realization that Brexit was this experiment? Because if you had this realization, you had enough time from Brexit up to this point, watching all that was happening in the UK, to say, oh yeah, this is not working. This is not working. If I ever become prime minister, I should do something about this, because it's not working, because it's an experiment, because it's by design, and it's, essentially destroying the UK from within. And if you respect your country in any way, you should do something about this. I don't know, Brendan G. Didn't the UK Open Borders project begin under Tony Blair? Yeah, I don't know, but the Tories were sitting on their arses for years, and they did nothing. Why? Because nobody wanted to be called a racist. Nobody wanted to be called a xenophobe. Nobody wanted to be called names. This is the problem. These governments are comprised of way too many people that are afraid of being called names. Is that silly? Is that simple? And it's sad. They don't have the cojones to do the stuff, the hard stuff. And I'm just going to play this clip again so you understand that this realization is evil, because this is not something that you had a sudden realization. Keir Starmer, you didn't have a sudden realization. You knew this a long time ago, and you haven't done anything about this. Haven't done anything about this.
What the British people are owed is an explanation.
What is the explanation? No. What the British people are owed is actions, is close the borders. It's as simple as that. Get Macron on the phone and tell him and speak to him in the same terms as Donald Trump could talk to Sheinbaum of Mexico. I don't know, that maybe that works. Like, don't allow these people to send any more illegals. Is that simple? It should be simple. Oh no, well then you will be called a racist and a xenophobe and the other phobe that you know that it is way worse in the UK nowadays.
Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck. It isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball.
No, it is a global trend. It is a global trend. It is a global trend and part of the 2030 agenda, the globalist agenda. Let's erase the borders. Let's erase the identity of countries. Let's erase the meaning of tradition and culture. Let's erase everything that comprises the values and principles of a nation. And let's erase the identity of a nation itself and marginalize the people who have defended that country for years and decades in help of what? Of people that are coming to these countries to not adapt, not learn the language, not care about law, commit crimes? Is that how it works? Oh, well, yes, that is by design. They do all this to create chaos. And now, I guess that after Donald Trump won the elections, then you're going to see this kind of things. They will try to backtrack and, I have known this since the beginning. Maybe it was Tony Blair. Maybe it was the Tories. Maybe it was Labour and the Tories. And maybe we can have a sliver of hope with reform. But I don't know. I wish that reform was an actual solution to this. I wish that we give them the opportunity. The UK gives reform the opportunity to do something, anything. But so many people, including in reform, don't want to be called names. They need more Latinos in there. You know, we are not afraid of being called names. There are all these memes of Latinos being called names. Let me see if I can find this. I can find that one. We are not afraid of that. I found it. I found exactly what I wanted to show you. But in the UK, there's not one single politician that I said, okay, this guy has the right stuff that is needed to do the things, to do the hard stuff. Here it is. Is this the one? Hispanics, when you call them a slur, call us call us racist, call us xenophobes, call us whatever you want. Oh, when you call us Latinx or whatever, however that is pronounced, that's when we get mad. But this is betraying your country. And this is not only the UK, it's Canada as well. It has been the US as well. It has been all the Western countries. Europe is being invaded. And it's all by design. Oh, and the Starmer.
No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders.
Not only Britain, all of Europe.
Global Britain. Remember that slogan?
Yeah, Global Britain. Who came up with that? Who came up with that? This is the problem. This is the issue with these people. And they want to backtrack. They want to act as if none of that ever happened. They want to act as if, oh, we just realized that this was a bad idea to let all these people inside the country and just destroy the makeshift of our country because we have some kind of guilt. I have to believe that they have some kind of, I don't know, guilt. A lot of them are just plain evil. But so many people in every country have this huge guilt about, I don't know. I don't know. It's like in Germany. It's like they have weaponized their World War II guilt against themselves. Generations after World War II, they still have that guilt. We have to destroy ourselves as a nation. We deserve to be destroyed as a nation. It's something that I cannot wrap my mind around that. But at the same time, I need to talk at some point about Hispanic countries. Because Hispanic countries, let's say Spanish-speaking countries, if you will, we have our own issues. Every country has their own issues, but we need to be proud of the country that, let's say the country that we choose for ourselves.